If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Numbers and say his raw numbers, because Troy Aikman's raw numbers weren't great. Favre, on the other hand, his raw numbers are so good, despite the numbers of Super Bowl wins. So I think you can look at raw numbers, you can look at body of work, and you can look at suits. To me, 3 Super Bowls locks you in no matter what. If you've won 3 Super Bowls, they're not going to keep you out. Look at Roethlisberger. If he wins, he's going to have 2 when he's, 25 years old?
If he wins, he's on the fast track to the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and that's what it's all about. He doesn't have to pay 15 years or 20 years in the NFL to get in.
Right.
And I think that's what people confuse when they try to sit here and make these. Again, I don't vote for the Hall of Fame. I just think the arguments against Kurt Warner of he's only had 5 good years are ridiculous. You know, Sandy Koufax didn't have a long career, but he was a no doubt about it Hall of Famer.
Gale Sayers
Didn't have a long career. He's a no doubt about it.
Pedro Martinez is going to finish with 220 wins, and if he doesn't go in, they should burn the place down. I mean, he was the best pitcher in baseball for
eventually he will get in.
Right.
Because
even Jim Rice got in 20 years later than he should have.
And you know what will happen in baseball? It's different. Guys with 300 are now. There's a couple left. Once they're gone, then they'll look. Nobody will get 300. Nobody will get 280. No one will get 250 wins, and then they'll start going and looking at numbers.
But we might get 800 home runs.
Well, 800 home runs, yeah. No, that's not going to happen anymore either. Anyway.
Well, A-Rod could certainly. He's going to hit 700.
He'll hit 700. And
what's he got now?
But he's a lock already. A-Rod doesn't have to play another day, and he's a lock Hall of Fame.
How about Torrey?
And hadn't won a damn thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Have you read any of that yet? I mean,
No, I just heard about it. I got in last night, and I'm in the car, and I heard it on the radio.
Quote, he's a phony, and he knew it. Hello?
If you're a phony and you know and clap your hands.
How about that, though? I mean, that's really sort of
very un-Tory-like.
Does Joe need money that much?
I don't think so.
I think he just wanted to set the record straight.
See, I don't know. I haven't read the book, and I'm not saying he was misquoted in his own book.
Which he probably will, by the way.
Tom Verducci wrote it, so come on, he's a pretty respected guy. This isn't a
but I haven't read the context of what he said. I don't believe Joe Torre said, I'm going to write this tell-all book. There's only like a portion of the book that he devotes to it. It's not a book about the Yankees, because there's only like 400 pages devoted to the Yankees, and 400 pages is not a book. When was the last book you, because Joe Torre's written a 497 word book, and unless the local sportscaster screwed up, maybe it's a 497 page book. But I don't think all 497 pages are trashing the Yankees. I think there's just portions of the book.
Well, that's the way it always is, right?
I think John Daly is the only guy living who wrote a book and then said he was misquoted in it.
Well, Charles Barkley used to say that all the time, too. He was misquoted in his own autobiography.
Right.
And I think taking out of context is enough. Misquoting or taking out of context. Right. You know, because that's what happens. The PR agents, when you write a book, they want dirt. So they're going to go in there, because when you're promoting a book, Joe Torre promoting a book about his life, nobody's going to buy. Right. Now you say, oh, but there's a part in there where Joe Torre rips A-Rod, and he probably talks about him and what his teammates thought, and so that becomes the meat of the book to sell it. Now all of a sudden, everybody on talk radio today, Joe Torre ripped his A-Rod, and all these guys were saying this and that.
Well, and it obviously came out for us to talk about it. They released the book the day of that. We have a week to sit here and talk about the Cardinals and the Steelers.
Brilliant marketing.
I mean, it's what ESPN did with the Amici, or however you pronounce the guy's name, the gay basketball player.
The kid from Penn State.
Yeah, John.
A.M. Amici. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. Yeah, I mean, they did that the week of Radio Row, knowing it would Stoke. Yeah, we're on camera now.
Is that live?
No, that's the tape, man. We're Memorex is what we roll.
We don't require. How many megabig is the disc in that thing?
Long enough to do an hour and a half.
8 megapixel?
Yeah.
Beautiful, man.
We don't require sport coverage, so you're good.
Okay, good.
I'm looking at.
His head looks good in the light here, man.
What's wrong with
glimmering
that,
up, man.
What's wrong with that?
I'm thinking of going bald. Should I do it, Tony? What do you think?
No, you don't do it, man. Your hair looks.
Now listen. Here's the funny part.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.